And the Saturday of first week is represents different take on orchestral program. This different take started last year when Stephen conducted program of villains and heroes.
Great love stories and heroes and villains.
I see. All of that.
Yes.
Anyway, that was such a huge success that I decided to try to emulate Stephen, which is very hard thing to do. Anyway, so I decided to present a program which could be treated both as a subscription, a masterwork concert, or it could be treated as a popular music concert. Because I've chosen two greatest American composers, George Gershwin and Aaron Copland, and I looked at their masterpieces like An American in Paris and Rhapsody in Blue by one, and An Appalachian Spring and Lincoln Portrait of the other. So I thought that this program is from the first to the last note is such a glorious American music, and such a glorious and so impressive and so convincing and so patriotic that it would be great evening to do that. And of course we're not doing it an evening anymore, we're doing it at 6:30 p.m. That switch which we did last year proved to be very successful, and we have more people at that concert. We have younger people, we have families with children who go to that concert. Therefore, we are going to continue this tradition. The soloist for Rhapsody in Blue is an old friend of Peninsula Music Festival. Her name is Orly Shaham, and she used to come practically every year. But then she decided to get married to David Robertson, and David Robertson, having very, very tight guest conducting life, took her along, traveling with him all over the world to Europe and Australia. Therefore, she became really busy. In addition to that, her own solo career has developed to such extent that it was hard for her to find dates. But this time, we have her back, performing Rhapsody in Blue by Gershwin.
And the last time she came, well, I should at least say one of the times she came, Appalachian Spring was also on the program, and she played it.
Oh, she played the piano part?
Yes.
Because it was the original version, right?
The original 13-instrument version,
Yes.
which I believe we did with 17 instruments.
Well, that's not. That's very generous.
And she's also played Gershwin before, because I recall doing the Gershwin Concerto in F with her.
That's right.
But this program, though very popular, has some music that actually hasn't been heard at PMF for a long time, such as the Rhapsody in Blue.
Well, so that is the first half, right? An American in Paris is also a very interesting piece because it's known to American people not only as orchestral work. By the way, first time I heard it was the old recording of NBC Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Toscanini.
Yes.
I had no idea that he would do that piece. But it's also known as a ballet score and as a movie. Right? I saw it on TV.
Well, it's a fantastic movie, An American in Paris. And, of course, one of my very favorite scenes is the performance of the concerto in F, in which Oscar Levant plays every part, including conductor and percussion.
I see.
But there's also an interesting kind of inversion of chronology in this program, in that the middle works, the Rhapsody in Blue and the Appalachian Spring, come from earlier times in the composer's output. And An American in Paris comes a bit after Gershwin had conceived the success of the Rhapsody in Blue, and he really applied himself to know more about classical composition and structure. We mentioned Ravel. There's the great story of Gershwin meeting Ravel in Paris, and the fantastic conversation they had, and somehow Ravel inquired as to how much Gershwin earned, and upon being told, said to Gershwin, "Perhaps I should be studying with you." But then in the case of the Copland, he did the Appalachian Spring for Martha Graham, I believe in the 40s.
Yeah.
And then wrote the Lincoln Portrait for Andrei Kostelanetz sometime after that.
Well, but nevertheless, I think the sequence of the concert is quite correct, starting with the American in Paris, then introducing a piano soloist, and then after intermission, doing this ballet score of Appalachian Spring, which we are going to do in his second version for the full orchestra, which Copland himself conducted many times with the Boston Symphony and recorded. So that brings another sentimental memory to me about my years with the Boston Symphony, and playing under direction of Aaron Copland. I did not play his piece, but I played Classical Symphony of Prokofiev under direction of Aaron Copland. So there are many, many small personal connections to that.
And again, we have these other people who seem to come to one's mind when you consider this program. Paul Whiteman, who invited the band leader, who was really quite an important person in American music in the 20s and 30s, who invited Gershwin to write this concerto in very fast speed for his concert of modern music at Carnegie Hall, or Aeolian Hall, I think it was, in New York. And then, of course, Martha Graham with the Ballet Appalachian Spring. And then I can't help but think of Bernstein with this program, who was so close to Copland and influenced by him, and certainly conducted these pieces, especially the Lincoln Portrait.
Not only conducted, he's actually one of the best piano players of music of Gershwin. And that is very hard to conceive, because we don't really know him as a solo pianist. And yet his recordings of music of Gershwin is unbeatable.
And his first connection to Copland happened at a party where Copland heard his own piano variations being played by a very young Leonard Bernstein, and instantly they formed a long-lasting connection. But I also think of the narrator that Bernstein took with him with the New York Philharmonic, who is none other than William Warfield, our former colleague, who was the last person to narrate this piece at Peninsula Music Festival.
That's right. He also narrated for you.
Oh, a number of times.
Yes, and he also narrated for me when I was music director of Omaha Symphony.
Yes, and what a privilege to work with him in any capacity, because doing Lincoln Portrait with William Warfield was a luxury, in a sense. He knew it so well. Normally, the conductor has to be very careful to cue the narrator, because you often have people who are unfamiliar with being on stage in that situation, and they sort of wait like a nervous deer in the headlights waiting for their cue. And William Warfield did it by memory and always fit the text in the most perfect way.
Well, he was another legend.
Yes.
Legendary musician and singer and person in our lives. So we will actually honor him as well.
That's wonderful.
By doing this together with President Lincoln.
Yes.
I'm also looking forward to see orchestra reaction to this program and the public's reaction, because being an immigrant, who, as I am for the last 39 years, I made a special effort to make American music my music. And I not only perform it as frequently as I can, but I teach students at Northwestern by scheduling American music every year, so they would really understand who they are and understand culture and music of their own country. So there is an educational aspect to that. And because of that, I'm curious how this all going to come up at Door County.
And there's no doubt that for any American conductor, you must know Appalachian Spring. I still consider it to be the most perfect piece of American music. It is an absolute jewel. And every time one has the privilege to come back to it, it's just amazing what this composer, born in 1900, like Bernstein, to parents of Russian Jewish ancestry, was able to do in perfectly capturing the sound and the feeling of the United States of America.
Well, Gershwin did that too, but
Exactly.
but he got completely different sounds.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that shows us that America is really a big country. Well, anyway, so this is our first week, which is, in a nutshell, is incredible variety of music and the quality of music too.